everybody, it's Starrupt here. Welcome to my trailer breakdown for Star Wars The Last Jedi's trailer. I watched this trailer about 20-something times, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down this trailer by looking at specific screenshots that I took that might actually tell us something more about the story here. So this very first shot is of Kylo Ren, and it looks like he is in a different kind of First Order vehicle. I think this might be the ship of Snoke's, which is called the Supremacy. This thing is like 3 times the size of a Super Star Destroyer from the Empire. And what I really find fascinating about this shot is just the cinematography, the angle. This looks like something from the prequels of Anakin Skywalker kind of gazing out in the distance on Naboo. So pretty cool shot here. Now this shot is really awesome. I'm a big fan of vehicles in Star Wars, and here we have quite a few. We have the brand new ATM-6, and what's really interesting about this particular shot here is if you look off there in the distance, you do see a regular AT-AT from the Imperial times, as well as Kylo Ren's shuttle. Now we know that Kylo Ren is going to have his fighter, but it appears he's also going to have the shuttle, so that's pretty neat as well, and just that backdrop looks just absolutely amazing. Okay, so this next shot is some place that we haven't seen the inside of before. I think this could be Crate, and the guys there in white, they're First Order. They look like they're in snowtrooper gear, and we have Kylo Ren, who I think is in the black there. So they're off to go get somebody. Maybe it's Rey, maybe it's some of the Resistance holdouts. This shot took me a couple times to actually notice this. So it looks like Kylo Ren has finally finished the construction on his lightsaber, because in The Force Awakens it definitely had some parts showing, where now it looks nice, sleek, and black. And if you notice in that red background there, it looks like we see the bottom half of the Praetorian Guard. So it's interesting that their color kind of matches right into the background there, so pretty cool. So here's a shot that I didn't know if I really wanted to see. We had already seen this in a behind the scenes reel of Luke's exposed hand grabbing the lightsaber from Rey as reluctantly as it looks like he might be wanting to take this thing. This shot here basically looks like something straight out of The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers or something, because those structures in the back look like the Tower of Isengard, and then you have Rey, who has this sort of poncho on that reminds me of something from Legolas. So I just thought I'd point that out since I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Here is another shot of Rey, and this is a really interesting shot because I don't think we've ever got a shot of like the lightsaber from that angle where it's like pointing directly at us with like kind of this rounded tip. But man, is she just super powerful. She creates a shockwave on the ground, and then if you look at this next shot, you just see the reaction of Luke. Like, it's kind of funny because he's so bewildered. It's like, you just did that kind of thing. And for somebody to actually shock Luke, who has been traveling the galaxy for the last 30 years, uncovering the secrets of the Jedi, for him to be actually surprised by something, like, she has to have some kind of very substantial power, which we know the beginnings of in The Force Awakens. Okay, so this next shot is kind of Luke saying that he's scared, basically. He's scared of what someone has become. He's scared of somebody that has gained power, and that is kind of the main crux of this entire trailer, is the narration from the multitude of characters kind of saying, oh, this certain person has gotten stronger and we should be worried about them. I think it's Kylo Ren. In the beginning we have the narration by Snoke, and he's talking about how he has real power, and now we have Luke who's saying that this person, he knew them as small and they weren't doing much. And now that they're actually older, they're a threat. So if it's a threat to Luke Skywalker, who, you know, stood up to the Emperor, who stood up against the Darth Vader, the ultimate powers of evil in the galaxy, and he's scared of this person now. So that's just very frightening for Luke to be this fearless person to actually be scared of somebody. Here is an image that looks sort of like Luke's hand popping up through the wreckage. Again, this ties into the flashback scene, it looks like, where it looks like a Jedi temple has been burning, which we've seen in the previous trailers. Here we see Kylo Ren, who is just lashing out in anger. This character obviously still has a lot of tension, a lot of struggle with his whole persona of who he really is, how he fits in the galaxy. And I like how Rian Johnson is continuing this thread of self-doubt with this character. Here we have a look at some new vehicles in the fleet. So I think that center ship there could be the capital ship of the Resistance, which is a callback to the Rogue One character named Radis. And I really like the design of the ship on the right there. It looks like we have a new version of the Nebulon medical frigate. So I'm a sucker again for ships, for vehicles. So seeing these new designs makes me super happy. And speaking of new designs, we have the TIE Silencer that's being piloted by Kylo Ren, and he supposedly got these skills from his father Han Solo. And also there in the background looks like it is the Supremacy, which is, like I mentioned before, the capital ship of the First Order, and Snoke is on that ship. And I really love these space battles because they really remind me so much of Revenge of the Sith, and also Rogue One's space battle was just phenomenal. So it's really great to see we are getting more space, because in The Force Awakens we had that in atmosphere flight, which is okay, but when it comes to Star Wars, I love the space battles. Here we have Leia, who looks like she's on the bridge of the Radis, and it seems like she's connecting through the Force with her son, because we also see in this next picture here, Kylo Ren looks so self-conflicted, because in this trailer he is, at least if there's not any misdirection, which there's plenty of in this trailer, which I'll get to later, he is going to pull the trigger and destroy the ship that looks like Leia is on, and you just see him struggling there. Not to mention, I really enjoy how he has that new design of the scar, and how he has some kind of bandage on his face, which is pretty interesting and very unique. Here, this picture kind of matches what was one of those first shots with the troopers. Again, I think this could be Crate, and that is obviously the Millennium Falcon being followed by TIE Fighters, so I wonder what Chewbacca is up to here. Now, I'm not sure if this is within the same scene, but here we have the famous shot of the Porg here. And I just love this shot because you hear, Chewie roaring, and then you just hear the Porg mimicking the Wookiee roar. It's just freaking hilarious. And man, I love those little teeth. They're great. This is a fantastic shot of the new modification that Poe put on his X-Wing Black 1, I believe it's called. It's a super thruster that he turns on and nobody can catch him, basically. So I can't wait to see that in action. Here we have Finn in disguise of a First Order officer fighting against Phasma. So this battle, he is going to have one of those batons, and Phasma has her new staff, which kind of like juts out of this like little holder. So really cool. Just looking at the background, all that destruction, it's just absolutely so cool to see all those effects. Here we see more space, and more importantly, we see a lot of the new bombers that the Resistance is using. You see actually one just blowing up right there. They have so many guns, and you see looming out there in the distance. It could be a Resurgent class Star Destroyer, which is the same design as the Finalizer. So lots of things going on in this particular shot. Here we have Luke Skywalker, who looks like he's been like knocked down or something. He appears to be vulnerable. Now, this looks like it still is Octu, and I like how it's dark outside, and there's a rain, it looks like, so should be very interesting to see what exactly is transpiring here. Here is a beautiful shot of Crate, and that is Leia back there, and just, I guess that is the base of the Resistance there, which used to be an old Rebellion base. So we know that the First Order at some point are going to come down and try to assault this, similar to what they do, the Empire does in The Empire Strikes Back. Here is what looks like a continuing or a linked up shot to the previous one of Luke there in the rain at nighttime. And we definitely know that is Rey that is approaching him. And what is going to happen? Is he going to just say, I'm not going with you to go save your friends? Because we know that she appears on Crate eventually through one of the behind the scenes reels. So what is going to happen here? Alright, so the next shot here has me super excited because, again, it looks like we have another shot that could be the inside of the Supremacy. And we have what looks like is John Boyega's Finn in disguise right there in the center. You also see a number of different kind of troops. You got TIE Fighter pilots, you got the First Order snowtroopers, the stormtroopers, the heavy troopers. Like, they're obviously preparing for war. So this could be before they go to Crate. And I'm super excited to see all the vehicles. You got the AT-ATs there, and you also have new updated versions of the AT-ST. So I'm super pumped to see those vehicles back in action because, again, they're one of my favorite vehicle types from the original trilogy. And here we have our first official look at Snoke, And wow, I thought they were actually going to do computer generation, but if they did, I can't tell because this looks like, you know, just a lot of really good makeup. So he's got that gold robe, we've seen him with the toys, and his face is just completely messed up. I wonder who did that to him. I hope we learn more about this specific character in The Last Jedi. So here we have what looks to be the most revealing shot in this entire trailer. We have Rey, who is being held what looks like in Force stasis, which was a Force move used back in Knights of the Old Republic, so that's pretty cool. We know that Kylo Ren can do that, so it looks like what could be Snoke using the Force on her, because you notice that gold in the background. So that automatically is super revealing, is that Snoke is a Force user, and, you know, a very dark Force user. You also see a Praetorian Guard in the background, so we know that Rey is going to meet up with Snoke, and what is that going to be like? How is that going to transpire? Now, is he going to use Rey to basically do a coup on Kylo Ren? Is Kylo Ren keep failing him and he wants to get rid of Kylo Ren? He'd rather have Rey? I think that might be what's happening. So I don't know, but this is super cool. And here is like the last two shots in this trailer. The first one being Rey, and then there's that scene that she wants help, and it goes right to Kylo in the next image here. I really don't think that these two scenes are connected. When I first watched it, you know, obviously I'm going crazy watching how Kylo and Rey could possibly team up. But if you look at the background in Rey, it doesn't look exactly like the lighting is the same as in this Kylo Ren shot. They are slightly different. I think Rey is trying to talk to Luke to help her. But then, more importantly, I'm looking at this Kylo Ren image, and for whatever reason, this is my little theories, maybe he's on Mustafar. Maybe we don't know anything going on. They revealed Mustafar in Rogue One because look, you see this embers flying down. You see he's got the scar there. Maybe he went there to train with Snoke. I mean, it's steeped in the dark side power. Where else would you go to get more of a dark side training than the Mustafar, where Vader went and trained himself? His grandfather was there. I would love to see that kind of connectivity with the prequels and all going on with this film. But that is going to do it for everything from the trailer that I thought was pretty interesting. Now, this next shot here is of the new poster, which looks fantastic. I really love all the red, and it just seems like something very ominous is going to happen with Luke Skywalker, with him being prominently displayed at the top of the poster. But yeah, I really enjoyed this trailer. It's just so much to dig in. It seems like there's so much character development that's going to happen in this movie. It's also going to be the longest Star Wars movie, coming in at exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes. So there's going to be so much to see, and I feel like we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. Lucasfilm has done such a fantastic job with all the previous movies trailers, with really like not giving us anything, like no surprises, no spoilers. They were doing a really good job with like preventing the leaks so far, and we just have like 2.5 months, guys, before this movie comes out, and we could all talk about it. But for right now, it is that time for us Star Wars fans to theorize, to speculate, and that's what I want you guys to do in that comment section below. Tell me, what do you think about these particular screenshots here? What do you think might happen in Last Jedi? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I have plenty of other Star Wars content that you can look forward to on a weekly basis. I actually have my reaction to this very trailer already on the channel. Make sure you check that out. But I also created a playlist to New York Comic Con 2017 that just happened over the weekend. I actually included my tour of the Star Wars The Last Jedi booth that was there. That included some of the props, the models, the weapons used in The Last Jedi. So make sure you check all that out. But I also have movies as well as TV content on the channel, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of that in the future. I'm Star Raptor. I want to thank you guys for nerding out with me, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Star Raptor.